Is there a quartermaster position?
There's, if you make one, there is.
There wasn't originally?
There was not.
Alright, Arvin is immediately the quartermaster of the ship.
He asks you what his new duties are.
Quartermastering?
He snorts and says, right, I'll get right on that, Captain.
You already basically do it. I mean, I think you were underappreciated before, given the way that you take care of the supplies. It's another half share, though.
Arvin asks you for leave to go to the market. He says there's many things he'd like to buy for supply of the ship, and he doesn't know that he trusts Balin's, or not Balin. He doesn't know that he trusts Swent to get everything that he needs. So I've got a head to go down to that bazaar, see what I can find.
Sure, take 30 gold. Is that enough? What are you looking for exactly?
So I won't know till I get there.
I mean, is there any like food? Okay, you want to? Well, first of all, I haven't paid Arvin yet, so now he's at a full share and a half, so he gets another 150.
Okay.
Oh no, I did. Oh no, I didn't. So I've taken 1,100 off to pay the crew, so I'll give him his 150.
Okay.
And I will give him 100 gold from the stores to cover whatever expenses he thinks the ship should have.
Okay. During the whole scene where they were carting Warwanax off in chains and whatnot, when you come up on the deck, you can see Fila watching the scene from she had the door cracked leading into the captain's quarters. And as you noticed her, she closed the door again and went back inside. Orphan, what are your intentions for the morning?
Alright, so I got up fairly early, even though I got to sleep late last night. I'm gonna go back to the school and see if I can find the professor that they were talking about, Nal Kantar.
Yeah, Kantar, and I mean he's like the main guy at the school. He is the headmaster of the school as well as the Nal of the Guild of the Senses. So he's in charge of guild affairs and he's in charge of the guild itself, and he's in charge of running this new college of demonology. Okay. So at first, when you ask for an audience with the Nal, the initial response is you can't just ask for an audience with the Nal, who are you, but when they see what you are, they make it happen. They give you a time.
Yeah, I'll say it's about demonology matters.
Later this afternoon, he will be free, and he will see you.
Okay.
Hey, Bertrand. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What?
I was going to say, after that altercation at the arena, I'm going to go back to the ship and find Zook, because once he's done, I think he and I might be able to partner up on a little project, a side project of my own.
Okay. So, Orphan, do you have anything else planned until the afternoon?
To kill time, I'm going to do what the slave told me, suggested yesterday. I'm going to walk around the open bazaar. Okay. Now, just to kind of fast forward anything, everything available in the player's handbook, as far as purchasing gear, is available in this town at the value in the player's handbook. If you're just looking to buy something like that, everything's available in town for the listed price. So just go ahead and mark off the gold you're spending. We don't actually have to roleplay all this merchant business out, unless you really want to.
I mean, is there anything special available, or are we just going to assume it's all basic goods?
I mean, everything in the PHB is all basic goods anyway. If you're looking for a more exotic item, if you're looking for something magical, that will be a little more difficult. Okay. But I mean, I know that Tarin wanted to buy new armor. I know that some of you need to buy new ammunition or upgrade your weapons or whatever you need to do. But
yeah, the only thing I really need is just an idea of how much all the stuff we'll be selling will be worth, because right now I still don't have the shares worked out correctly.
You were saying I would need to make rolls for that?
Yeah, that
was my plan for the morning.
You left that in Eldove's capable hands, so you don't have to do anything else about that, Tarin.
Right, I just need to, no, out of character, I need to actually figure out how much gold I have before I start spending it.
Sure. I mean, you don't have to.
Well, I already kind of have been spending it and just kind of elbowing it. I mean, if I mentally add it up, it's less than I think I have.
Eldove, I want you to make me 3 charisma checks. Make the first 2 at advantage.
Alright. Can I make these as persuasion checks? Because I have that.
Make them as straight charisma at first.
Alright.
If you fail one of those, then we'll follow it up with a persuasion, but persuasion's probably not necessary.
Okay, so that's 8 plus 7 is 15?
That was the first charisma?
Yes.
Okay.
Second. $17 plus 7 is 24.
Okay. Now make one more regular, not at advantage. This last one's just a regular roll.
18.
Okay.
Oh no! Wait, no, not 18. 16. Sorry.
16. 16's fine. You were looking for a 12 actually. We're gonna start at the bottom and go up. Okay. Let me get the book in front of me here.
I'm not gonna write these down, by the way. This is.
I've got it
on you. All right.
For the Warhorse, you find a buyer who's willing to pay 280 gold. And that's undervalue, but it's because the Warhorse has been very malnourished and not exercised was. So you find 280 gold is the best you can get for the Warhorse.
Okay, and is this after all the fees and whatnot? That's what we actually get?
Well, what I'm going to do is we're going to tally all this up, and then Nodal's contact is going to take a straight 10% off, unless he wants to try to negotiate that off. So let me see here. The next would be the vestments.
Is 10% considered high, or because I mean, like if I consider it high, I would try to barter with him. But
if you were anybody else, they wouldn't give them 10%.
Okay, yeah, then 10%'s fine.
10%.
I'm not going to try to.
I'm
not going to attempt to screw him.
So Eldove, how much are you charging me?
We'll talk about that once we find out how much we get.
Okay.
So you said we can go ahead and do simple purchases
just
behind the scenes.
You don't need to worry about role-playing that, unless you really want to role-play a merchant scene.
Not at this time. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade.
The Dwarven plate mail. You find a buyer willing to pay 8,000 gold for it. The Dwarven full plate.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be the good one.
Not 80,000, you fucking cheater. 8,000.
That was a typo.
Sure it was, yeah.
Were you watching Party Loot as that was happening? Because that's pretty amazing, because I wasn't.
The vest, is there clothing in here anywhere?
Yeah, it's in the player equipment stuff.
So McClain, I'm actually gonna just to not break up the.
No, feel free to talk if you need to.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna just to keep dudes from interrupting the actual
Clothes
business that's going
fine,
on.
15 gold pieces.
So we're gonna say these are worth 20.
Okay.
There's a couple of specific things I'm looking for at the bazaar that we can take care of once all the buying and selling is done.
The pear wine, it would be relatively common. I mean, this particular vintage is not necessarily common, but there is a great trade of wines back and forth. They will offer you 8 gold per keg.
We should just keep it at that price.
And part of that is because one of the guilds that controls the trade of wine is not associated with the Nibiru at all.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll say 120 gold for the trade goods. You already have the value for the gemstones and whatnot.
Okay.
$3,200 for the silver warhorse barding. You found a buyer who's interested in the onyx mirrors, but he says there's a piece missing from the set. And he's asking, is there a possibility that you could find the 4th piece?
Can I tell him I'll get back to
You're
that
not talking to him.
find out?
Eldove is the one talking to him.
Okay.
I absolutely will tell him that we'll get back to him in the future, but for now we'll how much is he willing to pay for 3 versus 4?
He says if he had the whole set, he would pay 1,000 gold for them.
What's he willing to pay for 3?
If he can only get the 3, he'll buy them for 100 gold per.
Alright, I'll tell him we'll get back to him.
And he's very excited to hear back from you.
He will. Because I'm going to be arguing with the captain.
Gold chalice, 7 gold pieces. It may have been a fine piece of art at one time, but... And the bone warhorse figurine, I mean, it's just, like, bones.
Yep.
You can't really... you don't find anybody particularly interested in it. They say you might poke around the School of Senses to find a daffy wizard who might consider it. So add all that up.
I think it's worth the effort at that point.
Add all that up. 10% goes to Eldove's contacts, and Eldove, this takes pretty much your entire day. If you're going to focus on finding all these buyers in town, you're going to be running around doing wheeling and dealing pretty much all day long. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
cool.
fine.
Just saying, you might not get another turn for an hour.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's all gone. Unless, actually, you know what? I'm gonna just because I think it would be neat.
Just leave the archives there.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of cool.
I still say you should have butchered the Warhorse and ate it.
I think we would have gotten less than 180 gold pieces in value for it, undersold or not.
Gendron's gonna be so pissed when he comes back and you sold off his clothes.
Oh, how pissed is he gonna be when I kill him?
Probably less pissed.
Wait, how much were the clothes?
Like 20.
Yeah, they're very fine priest vestments, so they were very expensive.
Oh, they're priest vestments?
Yes.
I was considering keeping them.
Black silk and cloth of gold.
And skulls and ugliness.
Oh, whatever.
Not adorning the vestment. There were skulls and shit in the room, but not adorning these vestments.
Do you care if I wipe clean the slate of how many copper versus silver pieces we have and just list gold at this point?
We just assume that you've made the exchange at a moneylender. I mean, if you want. That
I'm just handing out, like, when I say I give somebody so many gold pieces, I mean, I could be giving them 10 times as many silver.
I really don't care about that.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
There's people that facilitate that kind of trade and coinage. We can just say you've gone through that medium. Or you could just say, hey, I'm paying him 30 gold, but all I have is silver, so 300 silver.
I didn't knock off the 10%, so that's...
They knock off that 10%. Yep. All right.
1173 gold.
What is this plan that Zook has, then? Adric and Zook. What is this going on here? And then we'll go back to Orphan after I get a sense for what's happening here.
All right, so I'm pretty sure that watching that dragon war next through the middle of the market ward probably got some people talking. So
not really, because it was before dawn and most of the shops were not open.
Also, he was very compliant for 8 hours.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway. Zook, Adric is no good at talking himself up because you might have noticed on his character sheet that big old 5 next to his charisma.
Yes.
So I need someone. I need someone to hype me up. Is what I'm saying. Hype me up.
The DMG actually has rules for this.
Oh god, does it really?
Yes, it does.
I'm just picturing fucking Adric sitting outside the arena, and anytime he hears like a slave, he's just frowning.
Adric is basically a crappy pro wrestler, and I'm his manager. I'm gonna Bobby Heenan this shit up for him.
Yeah, there you go. That works.
For what it's worth, Brick, I pay Ryler and sit Balin's money aside from him. That way, I can just even all these debts.
Okay.
For what it's worth, I went ahead and upgraded my armor behind the scenes. I haven't seen any like upgrades to. How many darts do you generally carry? Because I don't have darts for some reason.
10 to a case.
30 of them on me now.
What's that?
10 to a case.
And then Tarin's going to visit an armorer.
Okay. Like, are you going to have armor made, or are you just going to go to the market and buy some?
I'm going to get fitted.
Okay.
I eventually would like to see if I can find some better a better bow or something, but
for 400 gold pieces, I damn well better be fitted for this armor.
I mean, it's not going to cost 400 gold pieces for the armor unless you're buying. I mean, just buying out of the player's handbook.
That's the cost of a breastplate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the cost of a breastplate in the player's handbook. So, yeah, for 400 gold pieces, this better be fitted armor.
And you do have a feat that allows you to wear that, and not.
Yep.
Okay, cool. There's a table in here for exactly what Adric and Zook are talking about, and I can't believe we're actually going to get to use it.
I can. There's basically nothing that would happen in this campaign anymore.
Yeah, I can 100% believe that.
Yeah.
Darts and daggers have the same damage, so daggers are much more expensive, though. Jesus.
Yeah.
Because they're not ammunition. That means you never break them when you throw them.
Ah. Because I have 2 daggers.
And they can also be used for stabs. You can get the stabs with them.
Yeah.
Why would I ever do that? Never mind. I have plenty of arrows. I don't need more, ammunition at this point.
So I have to figure out how many.
You want my crossbow? Because I got like all this crossbow and bolts, and I'm never gonna use it. I'm just gonna shoot fire at people.
I don't think I can use a crossbow.
It's a light crossbow. Anyone can use it.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
rogues actually have really wonky weapons proficiencies, but I think you're right that everyone can use it.
But I don't get a finesse. What does it count on? Is it dex?
Yeah, ranged weapons are dex by default.
I'll be back in just a second, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, but the only thing I don't get is I don't get a sneak attack because it has to be a finesse item for me to. Or actually, I think it works on any ranged. Is it range and finesse? I guess I could technically use that crossbow.
Yeah, the attack must use a finesse range weapon, so that counts.
Now,
Just looking.
Zook.
Yes.
This arena festival is going to be taking place all next week. Okay, it's going to be starting. It's going to be starting in 6 days.
So we're in port for at least 6 more days, probably 7 or 8.
Well, I mean, the festival goes for a full week next week.
Okay, so we've got some time. Okay.
It's going to take you 6d6 days if you're going to go out and spend an appreciable amount of time talking up this dwarven fighter who's going to tear ass in the arena.
It's going to take me how many times?
6d6 days. Roll 6d6, add it all up. That's how many days it would take you to talk him up sufficiently to the point where he'll be the buzz of the town. If you're just going to do it in one particular ward, it would take less time, but tell me what ward you're doing it in.
What do you think, Adric? Because I got shit to do.
If this is going to take multiple days, I have something to add.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when... Go ahead.
I'm going to around town, like in the Grand Arena ward, where people like around the arena. I'm just going to spend a couple hours casting Prestidigitation to make posters of fierce Dragonborns.
I mean, those rumors are already spreading. People know that some kind of monster
I want him to... No, these are badass posters. Like, this dude is casting, like, ice is flying from his mouth, and the thing is sparkling white because it's magical Prestidigitation poster.
Okay.
Okay. If I do this, does this, like, a consecutive amount of time? Because I have an appointment tonight.
No, this just... It's going to take you that many days to sow rumors. You don't have to spend 100% of your time doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we could do this over the course of a couple of days leading up to it.
You can't do anything because your charisma is 5. So
yeah, I know. I know. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
But I will be putting out my. I will be there with him just to provide a face to associate, and not saying a damn thing because I know I'll just put my foot in it.
How long would it take just to spread this rumor right around the Grand Arena?
2d6 days.
3d6 days?
2d6.
Oh, 2d6. Sorry, you cut out for a second. What do you think, Adric? Do we need to do this all around town or just around the arena?
I think it's just around the arena.
All right. Yeah, we can take 2d6 days.
All right, Tarin. Next thing that happens is
10 days.
The friendly Flumph. You make arrangements for it to be sailed over and docked in the Low Harbor.
Yep.
That goes off pretty easily. They manage to take care of it for you. You get it docked. You pay the berth. What did I say? 3 gold pieces for a day.
Yep.
In the Low Harbor. Okay.
Eldove, how much do I owe you? What's your cut, man?
How much did it end up coming to?
About 1,100. After the 10%.
Give me an officer's cut, and I'll call it even.
3 shares?
Yeah. Of all the.
Well, the officers are making half a share. The player characters are making 1.5 shares, and the player characters make 3 shares.
If you add me in as a player character, I'll call it even.
And obviously,
worst negotiation ever.
I know, right?
I would. I think Tarin at this point is using the term outsiders or otherworlders for himself and the other player characters, since that's the trait they share in common.
Okay.
But not obviously the non-fighting ones.
Every time you say outlanders and refer to me, I'm just going to say, yeah, right, valuable crewman.
All right, so in the morning, Eldove, you are out trading. Tarin, you are making arrangements for the ship to be moving. You're busy with that. Adric and Zook, you are spreading rumors. So Orphan, let's go ahead and go back up to the School of Senses. Morning gives way to afternoon.
Oh, wait. So there was a couple things I wanted to do at the bazaar.
Okay.
So first thing, I was looking for maps of the world. because we don't have those, and I don't think that even the navigator has them, does he?
Yeah, it was actually one of the things I wanted to at some point do was go around and get Ryler and get the navigational stuff.
So I'm going to buy some maps of the world if I can.
You ask around in the bazaar, and you are directed to the market ward, where there is the Guild of Ink and Quill. It is a guild of map makers and scribes, and you would be able to commission a map from there.
All right. Well, I'll table that for now.
Okay.
And the other thing that I'm looking for is, let's see, I'm going to see if there's anyone in the bazaar that I can get to see if they can identify this ring that I've got.
For that, you would go to the Arcanists Guild. Eldove talked about this on the boat. What you do, it would not either go to the Arcanist Guild and have them study the ring, or you could go to the School of Senses and hire a wizard to cast Identify for you.
Okay. I'll just go back to the School of Senses for now, then.
Okay. So yeah, you spend the morning asking around in the bazaar, and you get pointed to where you can have your various sundries taken care of. And yeah, that's the time of... It's about an hour before the time of your appointment at the School of Senses. As morning gives way to afternoon. We're actually going to jump back in time a little bit, because Tarin has to deal with this arena guy, but we're going to take care of this first. So you go in to... There he is. Nal Kantar. And you're shown into his office. And it's in a separate building from the 8-towered monstrosity that you were in yesterday, and sitting aside from the dormitory as well. And this is where you are led to believe the School of Demonology is rooted for the time being. And Nal Kantar has a very large office with many curiosities hanging on the walls, various types of magical devices and diagrams and runes and all sorts of things. The Nal himself is a very unassuming man. He's a short, pudgy, balding man with thick black mutton chops coming down the side of his face and bifocal lenses hanging off the end of his fat nose. And you arrive in his office, and he looks up at you and he bids you enter. He says, "So, you're the Tiefling everyone's talking about."
Well, I wouldn't know about the rumors, but I certainly am a Tiefling.
And what can I do for you?
I came to see if you might, if I might convince you to take on a student.
So I'm taking on many students. There's been not as much interest as I would have liked in the new college.
Well, one young woman who's particularly interested is named Nanis Udakt.
And at the mention of the name, he starts chuckling. Says, I figured she would show interest, but she's not disciplined. She's not focused. Her nature, obviously, in being the infernal that she is, she's well suited to the demonological arts. But I wonder if she has the presence of mind for it.
She's definitely keenly interested. We talked for hours and hours on the subject.
What do you know of the subject? What is your interest in the arts of demonology?
I have very little personal interest, save for anything that it could lead to an explanation of the visions I've had.
Visions?
But I don't think that the visions are infernal in nature, so I doubt that you could help me with them.
He says, but a woman of your heritage, I wouldn't see what other source these visions could possibly have come from. He reaches through some drawers of his desk, and he pulls out a crystal ball that is pitch black in nature. It's just solid, opaque black glass, and it's sitting in a stand that looks like a demon's hand is holding it out, as though it's offering it to you. And he sets this crystal ball on the table. He says, let's talk about these visions. Let's talk about what you've seen.
Well, all right. So I give him a short explanation of the vision.
Okay, but what do you tell him? Like, what was the actual vision?
So I tell him that in the vision I saw the goddess Weaving Mother that I worshipped at the monastery, and who told me only that I would speak again with Oriana of the Blue Eyes.
And he inquires to the nature of this Weaving Mother. This is not a deity that's known to him.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of explain, you know, the philosophy, how you know, disciples of the Weaving Mother believe that everything is dictated by fate. That you know, you can't. It's hard to hold things accountable for what they do by nature.
And at that, he nods in agreement. I feel much the same way about many of your kind that I've come across in my travels. Sad the way that these superstitious men of Romneus have treated the Tieflings in the past here.
It does sound a bit horrific. I was told by the Udacts that there's a practice of cutting off tails.
And he nods. This is very common.
Well, I mean, from personal experience, I can tell you that has no basis in reality. That this so-called connection to the Nine Hells is certainly something I've never felt.
I couldn't agree more. Says there are connections to the Nine Hells, but they're not physical in nature. They're emotional. They take place in the mind, and they take form in the world through the actions that we mages of the Infernal Hells, through our studies and through our shaping of that nature. He slides the orb across the desk, and he bids you to place your hand upon it.
Alright, so I do so.
You do so. Make a will save.
Okay.
Just roll the dice, and I'll tell you what happens. That's a really low roll, Nick.
Wow. How do I always fail the most important ones?
You place your
Have fun
hand
with that.
on this orb, and you feel a sensation of being drawn into it. And now you're in a black circular chamber surrounded by purple curtains. And it's an elevator, and there's a weird girl there that starts telling you... No, never mind. There's still
Welcome
a desk.
to the Velvet Room.
Yeah, thanks for explaining the joke, McDohl. Thanks. Nobody would have picked up on...
He meant.
God damn it.
Okay, I had to pick up on that. Okay.
Nick, I don't know if you know about these games, but
The room still has features. You still see the desk, you still see the adornments on the walls, but it's taken on a completely different tone. Now suddenly the person sitting in front of you is not Null Kantar, but instead some manner of green-skinned creature. He has a featureless face with big black orbs for eyes. And you're still holding this orb in front of you, and this creature looks at you. It's wearing a regal purple cloak around its shoulders, and it regards you with his eyes, and you see these like mucousy lids close vertically across each of them, and it regards you intently for moments, and when you feel looking at this thing, you feel terror. Like, this is a creature, this is an unworldly thing. You don't even know if there's a person inside of it.
Does anything, if I let go, so I'm gonna let go of the orb.
You can't. You can't lift your arm, and when you try, you just feel like your hands are bound to it. Your fingers, the flesh of them, is starting to kind of melt inward into the glass.
Yeesh. And
the more you pull, the more this happens. And so you have this few moments of pure horror. And then after a few minutes, the creature just kind of sits back and waves its six-fingered hand at you, and suddenly you're back in the room. And your hand comes free of the orb with such force that you almost fall backwards out of your chair.
Alright.
And Null Kantar is still sitting there watching you. He says, "So, what did you see?"
What, was that you?
What do you mean?
The thing that was sitting in your place. Is that your true form?
He looks at you quizzically. It's my true form. So I don't know what vision you had. Everybody experiences it differently. The master reveals himself in different ways to all students.
It was this green thing, and it had black holes for eyes, 6 fingers on its scaly hands.
He nods and says, "It's very, very interesting indeed. So unfortunately, I must inform you that you are not suitable for the studies of the Demonology College. But At your behest, I will take a chance on the young Nanis, if that is your recommendation.
Oh yes, she's, if nothing else, she's fluent in Infernal.
So, you had this horrific experience, and you're like, this is the most awful thing that's ever happened. Oh yeah, I'll send this 16-year-old girl your way. She'll be right down. Okay.
Well, he asked.
Just to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
Everyone got 300 originally. The total for the adventurers shares is 1130. So add another 730, and then Eldove, you get the full 1130.
All right.
Okay.
There you go.
For the crew, their full shares are 376 each, and obviously the officers get 1.5 times that, which is 565. So when they get back after we've dealt with all the treasure, they get their full shares.
Now,
Okay.
I don't know hiring sailors, but I don't think you're going to have any difficulty after giving away 300.
I have 5,000 in cold hard cash still locked up in the storeroom for any future needs that has not been divided.
How much more did you say to add?
I just erased it, but you
730.
Yeah, you got 300, and there's 1130 is your actual share.
Tara, let me ask you: did you set aside a share for Fred, or did we forget about Fred again?
Yes, Fred is at the officer rank.
Okay.
So wait, how much was that?
Did you take the 300 the last time I gave you money?
Yeah, I took that. Wait,
then
no,
take
I took
another
100.
730.
Okay.
So back to Orphan, sitting back in the room with Kontar. He's very intrigued with you, but he doesn't seem to have any particular business with you at this point.
But what was that? Why'd you call it Master?
Says that is the Master, the one who gives us the gifts of demonological magic. The source of the powers comes from what you would call the Hells. Our job is, we shape this power and put it into the world to do good works. The same as the Wizards College.
I see. Well, yes, I suppose that Nanis would make an excellent student, but do you know her brother?
He nods, says I'm aware.
Why is it that he seemed so reluctant to talk? Even he refused to acknowledge not just my presence, but own nature.
And he laughs. He says, "There's not many Tieflings that want to be Tieflings."
But it doesn't seem like. I mean, certainly I've experienced my share of discrimination for what I am, but it doesn't seem like that applies here. Why would they be ashamed?
And he doesn't really know how to answer the question. Like he seems like he doesn't understand what you're having difficulty with, and he tries to explain it in a couple of different ways. Like they're the only Tieflings at the school. They're members of a race that are considered to be demons by many people. They're considered to be evil at birth, unless they undergo this mutilation. And he kind of goes around the table with you on it a few ways, and he's not sure how more clear he can make it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still skeptical about this, but I kind of get what he's getting at.
Right.
Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, I guess at this point I might as well ask him, if he can recommend the services of anyone in particular to get my stuff identified.
He says he writes, scribbles down a note. Let's take this over to the wizard school. And hand this to so-and-so, and they'll say that it's done.
Alright, well, thank you very much. And I'll go from here to visit the Udac's dorm again.
Okay. Now, the typical cost for an identify spell, let's see here.
And how did we determine you could find out if something was cursed, other than just using it?
Research.
Okay.
You actually have to research it. Okay, so spell level is 1, caster level is 1. So it would cost 50 gold plus 100 gold because it's it requires a pearl to cast identify. So typically it would cost 150 gold to identify each item, but you went to basically the dean and got a note. So the fee, they're going to knock it down to 70 gold for one item. Okay. Simply because the Nodal is so intrigued with you. And before you leave, he tells you that his door is open for as long as you're in Qisca.
Alright, well, thank him, and I'll say maybe I'll visit again before we leave.
All right. So what else are you doing in the school for the rest of the afternoon?
I'll go visit the Adric skin just to give Nennies the good news.
Okay, and neither of them are there. They both have classes.
Okay. In that case,
leave a note.
Sticky note.
You can leave a message. You can let somebody there know.
I'd rather tell her in person.
Okay.
Leave her a sticky note on our friggin' dorm's whiteboard.
Yeah.
Hey, Brick.
What's up?
I figured something out.
Uh-oh.
Fred is now the first mate.
Fred is the first mate?
Yep.
We just decided this?
Yes, I've just decided that I'm going to appoint Fred as my first mate.
You know the first mate has to apply discipline.
That's true.
Should we find him before
Well,
deciding this?
let's take one thing at a time here. One thing at a time. So, are you having the ring identified before you leave the school?
No, because I don't have any money on me.
Okay.
I was not in line to get paid. Right now I've got 5 gold on me.
That's true. Okay. So yeah, with that note, you'll be able to get that one item identified for 70 gold.
Okay. I'm just gonna walk around the low ward for a while.
Okay.
And but I'm gonna, like, before I was not doing anything about my tail, but now that I know that there's a stigma about it, I'm gonna keep it wrapped around a leg as I walk.
Roll a stealth check.
Okay. That's a 10, I think.
Fair enough. All right.
No, it's actually a 12.
12, that's fine. You're looking for 10. All right, so that takes care of you for the afternoon. I'm going to go back to the morning for a second, Tarin. After you get the Flumph situated in Low Harbor, representatives from the arena show up at the ship. And they tell you that, your men from the east showed up yesterday, expressing interest in fighting in the tournament, and that you would be the patron, the captain of the friendly Flumph, and they're here to negotiate those terms.
All right.
So
I'll step into my office.
Okay. Now you've already taken care of his exhibition match. What they're here to negotiate is his actual entrance into the tournament, which his entrance, your fee for the purse, you would be putting forth 50 gold pieces.
Okay.
And that is your contribution to the main purse, which will be many thousands of gold pieces.
Do I get a cut if he wins?
Yeah, when whoever wins, I mean, the arena takes a split and you take a split. So you would take a split of the purse.
No problem.
What you decide to give to Adric is up to you. But the terms they lay out is that his particular rounds will take place over the course of one day. So he'll wake up in the morning, he'll have matches all day long, providing he wins his way up the ranks. And the ranks are random draw. His opponents will be randomly drawn from a specific pool that you really don't have any influence over. No magic is to be used during the matches. No magic items. They will see to it that anybody who is using magic or magic items, that is considered to be cheating in the Grand Arena, and they will be dealt with very, very harshly. So basically, if he is found to be using magic or magic items during any of his matches, you go to jail.
Okay.
If he is many of the gladiators in the arena, he's just to make you aware, because your fighter is a free man. He's not your slave. Is he aware that he may be killed?
I think he's aware of that, but I'll make sure he is.
Okay, and then if he is killed, they have procedures for you to follow to, take his remains and make sure that you have some way of dealing with them. Whether he's going to be entombed here in the city, or whether you're going to have a pyre or feed him to the fish or whatever, it's not their business, but they just can't have this eviscerated dwarf laying in the pits.
Right, obviously.
Okay.
No,
they learned that lesson.
Yep.
They ask you a lot of questions about, like, the nature of Adric's fighting style, like what does he have a particular kind of signature. A lot of this stuff you wouldn't know. I don't know if Adric... No, Adric's not there. He and Zook are out doing whatever.
Yeah. Adric and Zook are already talking about how awesome Adric is.
I'll have to ask if I can get back to him on that. I will point out that he's one of the 2 best bare-handed fighters I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, you've seen Adric fight a considerable amount. Here's what you know: he fights with his hands. His blows come out very, very quickly, and you know that he's fearless. You've never seen him back down from a challenge, ever. In fact,
even when he should have.
You've seen him exactly. You've seen him fight to death's door on multiple occasions. Also, roll me a wisdom check, DC 10. Where's this dice at? Oh, there it is. Okay.
That would be in the 12.
You know, because you're a warlock, you know the nature of magic. Adric is not a magic user, but some of his abilities that he uses, while you know they're not magic, and while Adric knows they're not magic, you would have a devil of a time explaining this to the arena authorities.
Which ones would that be? Flurry of blows, or...?
Well, you'd have to discuss that with Adric, because, like, I don't know how some of his stuff physically manifests, but he has Flurry of Blows, which I think just comes out as, like, really, really quick punches, but he also has that, like, Fist of Unbroken Air. That looks like a magical effect to a spectre.
No, he doesn't have any super... Yeah,
oh, I thought you did.
No, I took the Martial Adept, and I took a Way of Open Hand, so I can burn Key to just punch even more.
Okay, so...
Yeah, he's just...
So, yeah, that's fine then, but I was getting him confused with other monks that I know. So yeah, that he's fine then.
Yeah, Orphan might have a problem. But...
He's not a wizard of the punch school.
You do know, however, it is trivially easy to determine his gauntlets are magical.
Right. And I didn't see Nightstone's magical aura in the book, so we're gonna have to make do without.
So yeah, if he's going to be fighting in the main tournament, he would. The exhibition match it probably won't matter, but during the main tournament, he cannot wear those gauntlets. He cannot use anything magical. Like they.
I'll ask if the rules for that I have an exhibition match scheduled the same day, and also I'm looking into an exhibition match for another fighter, and if the magic rules apply in that case or not.
And they say, "Oh, with the dragon creature."
Yes.
So, I don't see how they could say no to magic items against a dragon creature. I mean, how else will he best it?
Fists, beard, anger. I mean, that's my experience. But
well, we're looking forward to that. We can assure you. So yeah, I mean, they have some paperwork for you to sign.
Okay.
All right.
50 gold.
It's 50 gold, and that's his entrance fee.
I'm taking that out of my personal gold.
Okay. Adric and Zook.
So I rolled a 10, so that means it's going to take 10 days for me to
It would take 10 days for you to sufficiently talk him up. So 10 days from now, the tournament begins in 6 days. His exhibition match is going to be on the first day. So yeah, you try your best, but you can't really... You're not... I mean, you're gonna try this every single day for the next 10 days, but it's going to take that long. By that time, the tournament will already be half over. He might already be dead, which would be funny.
Yeah.
But, he's the best!
He's dead.
So
sorry, Adric.
That's all good.
Well, I mean, you guys are committed to making this happen over the course of the next 10 days. So over the course of the tournament,
try and
every morning for the next few days, you're gonna be out there doing it. And I mean, you're not doing a bad job. I mean, people are, first of all, a lot of people are interested just because he's a dwarf. That alone is a novelty. People here, they're always happy to see the Easterlings fight because they're so. I mean, they're voracious and they're stout fighters, and they usually fight with these big, heavy weapons.
I mean, imagine we come up with some kind of demonstrations. I'll be doing it without the gauntlets, but doing stuff like smashing friggin' crates or whatever, just looking awesome, just not saying a damn thing.
I like the idea that you're doing the exact opposite of what my character is doing, because I'm out there trying to talk up the Dragonborn because I want people to bet on him, because I'm going to bet for you.
So, I mean, understand though.
How's the beard looking?
How's the beard looking?
I mean, we're in port, so.
Oh, wait, did you say beer or beard?
Beard. I'm asking Adric.
Well, if he's trying to impress people, he would be well groomed.
Now, understand though, like this is not to speak ill of your efforts. I mean, you've got a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of fighters from all over Romneus who are in the arena. So there's a lot of this talking up, and trash talking going around. Many fighters from many faraway lands are here now, and many patrons have hired people to go out and talk up their slaves that are going to be fighting in the pits. So, I mean, you're doing a good job. It's just you're one voice in 1,000.
Okay, fair enough.
So I think
but I imagine that's just going to be part of the fun, and all this kind of stuff is just, people trash talking each other and getting all freaking FGC up in here.
So that takes care of the morning for you guys. What are you guys doing in the afternoon? Tarin, Adric, and Zook.
Well,
Zook, you do your stuff.
Well, my stuff isn't until evening, right? That's what he said. I need to come back in the evening.
Well,
So
he said that he'll be there until tomorrow night.
Until tomorrow night? You know what? I better go ahead and go talk to him, I suppose. Then.
So you're gonna do that this afternoon?
Yeah, because if he's until tonight sounds vague. I want to make sure I get this taken care of before he goes away.
Tarin, afternoon.
Well, I get fitted for armor, so that'll probably take a lot of it.
Okay.
There's one other thing I wanted to do.
Adric, afternoon.
Chilling back on the ship.
Chilling back on the ship. Okay.
The other thing, I wanted to spend some of my money to renovate the ship a little bit more to my tastes, the officers' quarters and whatnot.
Okay. What exactly were you looking to do? I mean, I understand this construction is going to take several days.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
I want to make the Eads' old quarters into more of a full-born alchemy lab. Kind of get away from the ability to use it, for like a quarters and whatnot. Do some repairs. Get the captain's quarters just kind of suited to my liking, rather than
make some notes on the treasure sheet, a list of everything, all the changes you want to make, and we'll quote a price afterwards.
You're a locksmith.
Is there anything?
Oh yeah.
Is there
Good point.
Yeah, sorry I broke those locks. Is there anything Adric can do over the next 6 days? Can he Rocky montage himself up a little bit?
Probably not. I mean, he's not going to go out and gain experience levels, if that's what you're saying.
No.
Or, okay. I don't know if there's anything possible or anything he should be doing.
Alright, so we're in the afternoon. Zook, you go back to the Sahagin.
Yes.
You head on in. The busty barmaid is still back there. She smiles at you as you enter.
I throw her a wink.
And you wink at her, and she thinks that's
And
weird
keep on-
because you're a gnome. You're basically
It's a friendly wink. It's not a come hither wink. It's a hey, how's it going?
And you go upstairs, and the elf is
I
sitting
go
at the
pretty
same
much straight
table.
Upstairs.
And he sees you as soon as you get up the stairs.
I walk right over to the table, and I put down in front of him the ice cold. What is that thing called? A vial? Ice cold vial.
It's like a little,
More like a jar.
It's like a jar.
Jar.
Yeah.
Ice cold glass jar.
Place it on the table. He reaches out and takes it. He regards it. This is one of a kind. This is.
I
He looks at
caution,
you.
be careful with that. Don't be careful with that. It can be dangerous.
He's
Don't
very
uncork it.
he's very much not being careful with it. Like he's testing the heft of it by throwing it up and down in the air and catching it. And he's like spinning it around and looking at it from all angles. So
Okay,
So what manner of object is this?
that is a very powerful potion that will create an icy fog as soon as it's uncorked. And with it, you could use it to gain entry or blind people or whatever you needed to do to slip in or out of a place undercover. It is a very powerful potion, and it would be very useful for someone in your, shall we say, line of work.
But there are others like it, are there not?
Not as far as I know.
But a potion is not a one-of-a-kind thing. He sets it on the table, leans back, and he's still regarding it. He's still interested in it. So you know this item to be what you say it is. Well,
What it does? Oh, yes, absolutely. I've seen it.
says, but what about the things you don't know about it?
Well, I can't very well tell you what I don't know about something, can I?
But if there are properties that you don't know about, how do you know it has any value?
What I know is what it can do, and what I know is what you can do with it.
So I'm surprised that you've brought me this. Because last night, it didn't seem like you snuck back aboard your ship at all. It seemed like you walked up the gangplank as dandy as you please, walked straight down into the deck with the captain himself. So I have to ask myself, how was this item taken without the captain knowing it?
What need have I to sneak onto my own ship? I have free passage on and off of the ship. It's what I do once I'm on the ship that gains me passage to places that neither the captain nor you know about.
Roll deception.
Okay.
Gotta be to 17.
Oh, that's gonna
Oh, I'm
be
sorry, no, you gotta
interesting.
be to 23.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, my
And
sweet
that's
Jesus.
a 1. So,
Where's my lucky feet?
Man, I'm gonna be able to sell that mirror once you're dead.
You do have the lucky feet. Oh, did you?
No, I don't.
You didn't
I
take
do
it.
not have
Oh,
it yet.
so you don't have
Yeah,
anything.
he's not level 4
I'm
yet.
level 3. I was gonna take that
So
after
you
this
say,
session.
you say, well, you know, what business have I to have my own ship? Says, I don't believe that you stole this. Says, I believe that you went onto your ship, told your captain all about me, and negotiated with him on what of your vast pirate treasure hoard you would deign to bring back to the Guild of Shadows. I think you're giving me your leavings. Says, and now, the game of trust hangs in the balance, Zook of the Forests. He swipes the jar at you, like just knocks it aside on the table, and it just clambers forward at you. He says, I have no use for this item. He says, and I'm beginning to wonder whether or not you're the man that I can trust.
All right. You're not interested in the potion? Okay. Well, you know, that was my first offer. I got something else for you. I produce this mirror, and I tell him this is a very, very unique item, one of a kind, as you can see.
Roll deception. You're lying.
How am I lying? It is one of a kind.
It's not. There's 4 in the set.
It is the North Wind, and that is unique.
You still got to roll deception.
Oh,
Gotta beat a 19.
Gonna get knifed. Gonna get knifed. Gonna get knifed
Not
in
gonna do
the
it.
ribs.
So you tell him the story of this mirror. And what do you do with it? Like, do you hand it over to him?
I lay it on the table.
Okay,
And I
and
start describing
he
it.
picks it up as you're describing it, and he looks it over. And when you're done, he sets it back down and says, I don't believe you. Once again. What's to say you didn't simply walk on your ship and say, Captain, I met this elf, and I can put one over on him with your assistance. Let's see what manner of treasure we have in our ship that has no value to us, and we'll throw it to him as a bone to a dog. Is that what I am to you, Zook of the Forest? Am I a dog?
Absolutely not.
And I have no use of your bones, and he flings the mirror aside, hits the wall, and shatters.
God damn it, McClain.
You almost said McDohl. You almost said McDohl, Nodal.
At this point,
You're
Zook,
the same person.
At this point, he leans forward at you, and you see the features on his face change. And he seems very upset. He's glaring at you. He says, now, Zook, now that you've lied to me twice, this is no longer a game of loyalty. This is a game for your life. He reaches in his cloak, and he produces a piece of parchment, and he spreads it on the table. And on it is this incredibly gaudy piece of jewelry. This is the most horrible, like, Suzanne Summers Home Shopping Network thing you've seen. But
Burko knows about Home Shopping Network jewelry.
It's huge. It's like, it's a bracelet, but it's gigantic. If you were to put this bracelet on, it would cover the palm of your hand and part of your forearm, kind of thing. And it's in the shape of a bee. So the yellow parts are gold and the black parts are obsidian.
Bees.
He says, you've come to me and asked me for information, and in return for this information, you promised me something unique, something irreplaceable, something your captain would miss. And all 3 of these things have been denied to me, Zook, and the Guild of Shadows does not look lightly on that. And so, you will have to redeem yourself. I give you a task. And if you complete this task to my liking, then we will revisit the topic of your initiation, so to speak. But if you do not complete the task to my liking, if you don't bring me this object, and he shrugs, says, then there will be no more talk of Zook of the Forest.
And where might I find this lovely piece of jewelry?
It's one of the guilds in town. The Apiarists Guild. That's your only clue. He leans back in his chair, folds his fingers together, and he does not look happy.
The Apiarist Guild?
Are you asking him that?
No, I'm asking you that. The Apiarist Guild?
Oh, Apiarist are
beekeepers.
Beekeepers, yeah.
Beekeepers.
The Beekeepers Guild. Fair enough.
I got bad news for you, McClain. The beekeepers keep bees in the forest of sadness.
And after a moment, he waves you off. He's done with you.
Well, I done cocked that up.
You did.
Yep.
You rolled
You
really
cocked that
badly.
up royally.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go downstairs to the main floor, and I'm gonna sit at the bar, and I'm gonna drown my sorrows for the rest of the evening.
When you try to sit at the bar, the barmaid walks up to you, and she doesn't look happy either.
Uh-oh.
Perhaps you should find somewhere else to drink your sorrows away. 'Cause your money's
right.
no good here.
You know what?
Wow.
I know where I'm not wanted. That's alright.
It's here.
I'll take my business elsewhere.
Wow.
I'm not entirely sure you do.
So Zook's afternoon was pleasant.
His girlfriend hates him now.
Does that take care of everybody in the afternoon? I don't think we... Okay, so early evening, Eldove. We're going to start with you. You've spent all day wheeling and dealing. You made a pretty good price for all the things aboard the ship.
Oh, I grabbed my broken mirror of the north wind on my way out as I slink out.
Very, very well. I mean, it's just the glass part of the mirror that's shattered. It could be replaced. It's like the outside. How do they describe it? It was like obsidian or something.
Onyx.
Onyx, some kind of, I don't know, some kind of black metal. But yeah, it didn't break. Just the glass in the middle of it. That could be replaced pretty easily. So Eldove, what are you going to do this evening?
I'm going to go back to the palace and seek an audience with the prince.
Okay. And the slave escorts you back up to your chambers in the palace. And after a little while, Humberth arrives, and he's now he's dressed in the regalia of a Qisca noble, and his bad arm just like hangs slack at his side and is actually pinned to his chest in front of him. So it looks like he's holding this empty arm out in front of him. And he enters the room. Good to see you well, Eldove. How do you find the grand city of Qisca?
It's been very hospitable so far, my prince.
As always. This is my first time here, and I'm finding it very curious.
I'm going to tell him about my meeting with with my friend at the what was the name of their family? I wrote it down somewhere.
Nibiru.
At House Nibiru, and mention that he's a priest and ask me if he wants me to talk to him about having him replace his arm.
When you mention the name Nibiru, Humber steels himself, sits up straighter. Says, I'm afraid I can't have anything to do with that house. And Eldove, as long as you're in town in my charge, you're forbidden to see any of them. So we cannot be seen to associate with the house that seeks to usurp the Jal.
God damn it. I'm glad I got all my business with them done early. I'm going to tell him, that's fine as long as you're here, my prince, but I already have trading contacts with them. It'll be impossible for me to hide them in the future.
He, again, this is not up for discussion, Eldove. I'm giving you a command as your prince. You will not have dealings with House Nibiru for as long as you're in my service. So they seek to overthrow the rule of the woman that I'm marrying. And how do you not understand this? Is there to be a debate? You know that House Nibiru is the most powerful house in the city of Qisca. You know the Jal serves at the pleasure of the guilds, and you know that Nibiru holds a lot more political power currently than House Astenu, which is the Jal's family. So yes, Nibiru. This is kind of an open secret, but yeah, Nibiru definitely has designs on the palace.
But has it been like openly hostile? Because it seems odd that I would have such a good trading relationship with them. If so,
I mean, there's no open hostility. There's no like war in the streets or anything, and I mean, there's no violence. In other words,
yes, basically democratic.